I'll go like this one. Okay, so in grey, these numbers here, this is week. So I should type that like weeks. So week 1 through to 6, and then 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So they're batched in groups of 12. So the course that I want to do, that I want to teach, will be 12 weeks long. So I've got round 1 in blue, goes for 12 weeks. And then I can do round 2, goes for 12 weeks. And so then I'm going to, I'll be selling and I'll launch round 1. And then I'm ready straight after round 1 to sell round 2, and then ready straight after round 2 to sell round 3 and round 4. And I can fit 4 launches in a year. That's if I'm working 52 weeks of the year. So just as a basic thing, obviously we might want to, we're going along with Muriel's thing, planning it out in the stars and making sure all of that is aligned. That would be kind of my next step, and break it out and place things where it needs to be. But just as like a rough guide, like just kind of getting everything down as a basic. This is basically how I would do it. So I would have like round 1, round 2, round 3, round 4, and you can see the different colors there. So, so I can fit 4 rounds in a year. You guys with me? So I'll launch 4 times.
So will you be doing, just thinking about the marketing behind that, Kim?
Yeah.
Would you be either you do the, because I've seen a few different options out there, you do the huge push and then you have the leftovers and say next round's opening, and then have a list of people ready to go into the next one? Or would you actively start promoting, say, halfway through, say up to week 6, and then you'd start promoting for round 2 at that time? I mean, how would you
okay, I've got a couple of thoughts around that. So I would have a doors closed, doors open policy. So like right now doors are closed, so there's a waiting list. I don't know when I would do that. That would be something that I would test. So I would try different, I'd try it in different weeks, and then over time work out, did I do it better last time, and am I having better luck this time? And basically just test and measure everything as I go along. So but yeah, definitely, like I would say right now, if this was a whole new brand new thing and I'm just going to go out to market with it right now, I would go out there and I would start saying, I am running, or I'm about to launch a 12-week foundation online, get your online business going. These are the 12 that, like, after these 12 weeks, you will have everything you need to know to get started. You will be online, you'll be on your road to making your first 10K per month kind of thing. Like, these are not obviously promises, but like, this is what you can expect. This is the kind of information that you would need. I've got the information. Like, it's doors are closed, but they'll be opening soon kind of thing. So you're doing like pre-launch. Actually, in a launch, there's 4 sections. There's pre-launch, then there's pre-launch, then there's launch, and then there's post-launch. So you decide how long you want that to take you. You can do that in 4 weeks. You can do that in 14 days. It depends on your marketing budget. It depends on what kind of audience you already have and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, you would be doing like pre-launch is something exciting's coming. And you guys have seen this all before, right? We see people do this all the time. I'm about to launch something exciting. I can't tell you what it is yet. I know exactly what it is, but I'm going to build suspense. And then pre-launch, doors are opening and I've only got 20 spots for VIP people, and get in now, early bird, blah 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 blah. Then you do the, okay, doors are open to the public, to the people who didn't get on my VIP list. It's now open to you. It now costs the full amount. You're not going to get the 30% off, blah 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 blah. But doors are open, doors are open, doors are open. And I would probably give myself the most amount of time in that doors are open. Like, I would want 2 weeks, and I'd be pumping that crap daily. Daily. It's open, and just 2 weeks, and it would be like an apply to work with me type thing. So this is how I would run it. I wouldn't say that there's going to be another one in however long. I would say doors are closed, and you create that exclusivity, that FOMO, fear of missing out. Oh, you missed out. If you missed out, I'm so sorry you missed out. And you hear this all the time. Like, I'm just regurgitating stuff that's already out there, that we know how this is it. But this is the is the formula behind it. It's a product launch formula, basically. This guy called Jeff Walker. You can look him up and you can find him everywhere on YouTube. He's amazing. But this is his formula. So
I do the same, Kim. I do the same. I mean, I only want to take the people around the interviews, like, and that's it. And the people that are waiting for the moment to come in, because there's a lot because of the situation that we are in. I'm like, no, for the moment it's closed. We are working because I know that I want us to finish the products with the elites, having done the interviews and making sure. And then in a few days, as soon as that is done, then I'm going to open the doors. But then you can also prepare it. So the fact that we are doing the interviews is also preparing. They're already looking at the elites as well. So obviously that is starting to wake them up, because I'm getting more and more people saying, can we come in? Can we come in? You know, or the ones that already had their interviews last time. But for the moment, I'm saying it's closed. And as soon as we know that we are ready with this group, then in that case I can start saying, yeah, by the way, so you build a momentum as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's nothing wrong with like having a like, if you need 3 months, if you have that link and a place where they can go and register, where they can, you know, register their interest or fill out an application form, like using Typeform or something, and really put them through their paces, you know, and really get all this information out of them. Tell me about you. What's the biggest challenge you're having? How can I help you? You know, and and you give it that vibe. We're only accepting people who are, you know, 110% committed to, you know, to thriving, not just surviving, blah, 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 like your spiel, so that they sell it to you. Yes, I am ready. Yes, I want to be part of this. Yes, I take this seriously. Yes, I want change. Yes, da, 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 da. And it could be about anything. It could be about weight loss. It could be about, you know, fitness. It could be about like anything. You can put whatever it is that you're going to mentor people around or coach them around. It will fit into this kind of model, basically. So, so then I'd have like level 1, and it goes for 12 weeks. And then they're done. Then I'm ready to do round 2. So they come in and they replace the Tuesday. The last people were on Tuesday. They're now doing Tuesdays. And there's a reason I'm saying that as well. And same thing. So this is kind of how I pace it out. Then for the people who came through round 1, through level 1, and smashed it and want to keep going with their business and need that next level of support, I would then move them into mentorship phase. So if they've got the foundations, they've taken the action, they've stepped up, you know, they've hit their 10K per month goals. We want people who are hitting the 10K per month goals, like if it's to help them in business. And then I would level in mentorship. So now they're like round 1, for example, would be round 1, level 2. So they've done their foundation. Now they're doing the mentorship. This is another 12-week program. So now I've got another reason to work with the same people, like my alumni from round 1. They're going to work with me again. But this is where we then move those Tuesday people to Thursday. So now they're working with me on Thursdays, and my foundation people are still my Tuesdays. So in my head, it's really clear. Tuesdays, I work with foundation people. Thursdays, I work with mentorship. Does that make sense? Cool.
Yes. Yep, it does. Yep.
Now, when round 1 finishes, they're level 2, round 2 can come in for level 2, and they're on Thursdays. Cool. Does that make sense? So this is basically what the spreadsheet's saying. Okay, so I'm going to just go first and let's chat about some numbers. Let's just see what we might charge and what we could make.
This is really good stuff. I've done really basic stuff, but not planned it out as far as how many people. I've just worked from the amounts backwards. But
okay. That's good, because that's the best way to do it, because then you know how much you want to make per year. That's the first exercise I think that we did with the lesson. Then you break it down per term and per week, because then you know exactly how many clients you need.
I know, Muriel, but I'm just thinking, how many people can I physically deal with? Like,
when you're batching things, you'd be surprised. Yeah. So if you're dealing with, like, mentally, I could probably go up to 20 mentally. And then, okay, so I know this because I had, when I was a Thermomix group leader, I had about 37. I was really pushing out to like the max because I had 4 teams, and they were all like, one group leader left, so I took on her 2 teams. So I ended up with 4 teams, and it was a lot of people, and there was a lot of one-on-ones. But like, my job, I just had to show up. Does that make sense? I wasn't going out to the demos, and I wasn't, so that would have been totally hectic, but my job was just this sort of stuff. So so I knew like my mental capacity could kind of handle this. If you wanted to run like larger sessions, you would have a support team. So you would have somebody dealing with, like, I wouldn't want to look at emails. So if I've got 50 people in a thing, I'm not looking at emails, I'm not looking at my inbox. I'm like literally just showing up. And I have someone looking at my emails. I never want to see an email. I don't ever want to deal with my accounts. Like, I'll do one phone call on a Thursday afternoon with my accountant just to say, you got this much money in the bank. That's all I would want to do. So I'm going to set up my support structures, because there's like, if you want to build $1 million business, you can't do all the things, but you do have to be very clear on what the parts are so that you can outsource them appropriately. Because I've seen like people who want to like work one-on-one and charge just by the hour, like an hourly rate thing, like a doctor or an accountant or a consultant or whatever. You're going to hit a glass ceiling with how much money you can make, because there aren't that many hours in the day. So if you're charging $250 an hour, lovely day, but if you were charging $250 an hour and you're working a 40-hour work week, you can't have 40 hours of client-facing stuff. So now you limit that to like 6 hours a day. So 6 hours times whatever. Do you see where I'm getting? Still only so much money you can make. But if you're doing group work,
yeah, because I was going to add for Tracy, just the fact that once you are getting organized, that things are recorded, like we are recording now and stuff like that, all those things after that, that also will be ready so you can reuse them. So you don't need to be there all the time as well. You can simplify as you go.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the brilliant thing. Like, you will be able to set it up so that a portion, you might do this live now. So I'll like record it live, do it like a webinar thing. So I'm not getting, you know, I'll do like a Q&A session at the end, and people can type their questions to me, but I'm going to deliver the content in a way that's reusable so that I only have to do it once.
So does that mean that you only turn up for the Q&A part of your webinar?
No. So we do it like this, but I would use the webinar function of Zoom so that your face isn't in the chat box here. But there's a functionality in this that so that with the chat box, there's 2 sections. There's chat and then there's questions. So if you've got a question, you put it in the question bit, and then that way it can actually be like it can literally be dragged to the top. So me as the facilitator, if I've got someone sitting beside me, can see this is the question at the top, and they've been prioritized because obviously one is going to be, you know, like it's going to help the most amount of people. So so I would deliver my content in a way, and I would probably do like 3-hour sessions to cover off the whole thing, and I would have workbooks for it and all that sort of stuff. But I would prepare 1 week at a time. I wouldn't sit and do 12 weeks. And then I would literally just only be 2 to 3 weeks ahead of my students in terms of what I'm actually producing and how I would roll it out. So I would want to sell however many I've decided I need to sell to know that it's viable. If I didn't hit a certain cap, I would cancel it and I would refund everybody's money. I'm not moving forward with a project that's not viable. And basically that's kind of how I would run it. So so the numbers here, have a look on the screen. I've got, so Tuesdays, round 1, you could do 4 rounds in a year, but because you're starting mentorship after you like after round 1 finishes, then you can only fit in 3 of those per year, right? So this is how I've worked it out. I thought if I'm aiming for about 50 people in a group, I know that I can then afford a support team to help me with my inbox and help me prepare documents, and somebody else to be sitting like literally to my side or somewhere else on Zoom to be helping facilitate questions and stuff like that. And then, because once I've done my 3-hour session for the week, now you've got some other sort of levels of support that people will need and stuff like that. And you know, you've got a team that's around to kind of be able to help with that. So just the numbers on that. If I'm running that for like $5,000, I just picked a number, but I could do it for $2,000, could do it for 7. I don't know. 5 was sort of nice and in the middle. And I had 50 people. Now I'm doing 250,000 launches, and I'm going to do that 4 times a year. And so just on my foundation level, I'm making $1 million or turning over $1 million per year. I know I can afford a really good VA on that. I know I can afford like a business manager on that. I can afford everything. I can afford a cleaner for my house. Like, I'm going to free up all my time. I'm going to have my, you know, my PT come to my house so I don't have to go to a gym. So just so I can save 15 minutes on the commute to the gym. I don't want to do that. Do you know what I mean? Like, now I'm going to get smart with where I can shave off and do some swaps. So swap out cooking dinner, hire that out. Okay, I've saved myself an hour. Swap out cleaning my house. Like, if I'm running this kind of business, I'm not cooking, I'm not cleaning, I'm not driving, I'm not doing shit. Just doing this. So
it doesn't happen all the time like that. Okay.
I know, but this is what I would do. I'm just developing my dream business.
Yes, that's
so
why
you guys can like dream with me.
The reality is not always like that, because then the child will be sick and the child will need you and no one else. And trust me on that one. I'm trying, but it's not.
I know.
I'm just wondering. I really want to give people personal service, because you know, that's coming from my my background there. So, but yet I want to have passive income as well. So, is it possible to still, you know, have that amount of clients a week?
You're talking about connection. So you want to connect.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that someone actually gets from the beginning of the program to the end, because I see so many people out there that, you know, oh yeah, I'll sign up for that program, and then they never complete it. And I don't want them then to turn around and, you know, I want
so
amazing testimonials at the end of the program, so that people, you know, that.
So my tip for that's called attrition. So you would want a really low attrition rate. You don't want to lose students. So my tip for attrition would be, first of all, okay, so in terms of students doing the work, right? Okay, I heard a really great quote. I read a really great quote on one of the homeschooling pages, probably about 6 months ago, that set me up, because we're homeschooling now too as well. So, so basically what this teacher said, she was a teacher mum who was now deciding to homeschool. And the question had been around the registration process for homeschooling put a responsibility on the parents that was of a higher level than what was actually expected of teachers in our education system. And the teacher said, when I write, you know, when I take the curriculum and I present the curriculum to the student, I'm not judged as the teacher. I'm not judged on how many people pass that course. So let's say it's like, I don't know, grade 6 students, right? And they're sitting there all day, every day with that teacher. She just delivers the information, and she's not judged or paid per how many people pass or anything like that. It's on the student's responsibility to rise to the challenge, to meet it halfway. And that thing, you know, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. You can deliver all the amazing content and information, and it's they have to meet you halfway. So your housekeeping at the start, your very first session really needs to be about responsibility, showing up, honoring the investment, honoring the time, basically like getting it in their head that they are worthy of the outcome that you know that this content can deliver, but they have to do the work, because they're there to learn, and they're there to apply the knowledge and actually show the results. Does that make sense? So it's like, I saw a hypnotist do it once as well, and he's like, okay, so here's the thing. I'm going to tell you to sit in your chair, and you're going to sit in your chair, and I'm going to tell you to close your eyes. And now, whatever you do, don't open your eyes. But now I'm going to tell you to open your eyes, right? So the point was, whose eyes are they, right? So at the end of the day, if you're there and you're going to allow the hypnotist to do the thing that they have to do, you still have to, you can open your eyes at any time. You can not play along, basically.
Yeah.
If you don't play along, was it the hypnotist who was the failure or sucked or whatever? Like, you had to do your bit, and you had to basically be open to the suggestions and all this sort of stuff. Because the point he was trying to make is, you don't have to go along with it. Like, you have your own free will at any point in time. You can get up and walk out of your chair and leave the auditorium. Like, you don't have to. But if you want to be here and you want to gain the learnings and all that sort of stuff, then you're going to play full out, and you're going to give it everything you've got, because like, I know you're worth it and you can do this. So you have to have that chat at the beginning.
Yeah, it sort of reminds me of like when you came into grade 8, like when we grade 8 was actually senior high school, and you'd get the talk from the principal, and this da 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 da, and laid it out. So thank you for that reminder, because that is really an important thing, to make it clear to everyone. I mean, you might send them the paperwork, they may sign it, but how many people read things, these days and just sign it? So actually having something that's about that in the first week is really important. So yeah.
Or do the work, because you need to do the work. If you want to see the results, obviously something different needs to happen to get the results, because otherwise what you are doing is actually not working, because otherwise you will already be successful. So it does take discipline and it does take work. That is something that needs to be regularly done, like adding those 10 people, doing your life, all those kind of things. You will only see the result. And if I just may, at one stage, Tracy, you were saying, I like the one-on-one, and the one-on-one will build that relationship and those testimonials and stuff like that. But if you really want to make a lot of money, you will have to, because exactly right, your time is limited. And yes, you can do a program completely online as well. It can be the program not of those 12 weeks. It can be, for example, instead of 12 months of 12 weeks, it could be something on 1 month or 5 weeks. But there can be some programs that are completely sold online, because sometimes people just want that. And then with whatever you've recorded, you can recreate another one, which can be another source of income. And then they can just write to you via email. So really the possibilities are technically infinite in that sense. Once you program, or once you know what you are selling, you can break it down in different ways.
And when you've delivered something once and you've got it, you can turn it into that evergreen, like that's what you're saying. So you do the evergreen webinar to sell it, and then the evergreen course to sell it, and you've done it once and it's just going to keep selling. But so I've actually got another piece. I've got an additional, this is like a bonus round. Ready? Okay. So you can do, I didn't name it in here. Then mentorship. Hang on. And a mastermind. So now Fridays will be the mastermind. So the people who've come through level 1, level 2, they now can do like a round table mastermind with you. And see, when you sign up for a mastermind, you're not just signing up for the person who's facilitating it. You're at the table with the big players. You're at the table with the people doing 6, 7, 8, well, probably 7 to 8 figures a year, those businesses. And so they're now your peers. You're actually paying for that relationship to sit with those peers who are at that level, who are making that kind of money. So now, now you can have the relationship with me, but at the end of the day, I'm just going to facilitate an opportunity for you to sit at the big table with the people doing the big numbers. So when you layer it like that, so you've got your level 1, you've got your foundations right. It's not really a pass or fail thing, because everybody's going to set their own metrics for what they consider success. But then they've got the mentorship, and then they move into like a mastermind. And this is where I wouldn't necessarily run the mastermind. I would do like a once a month type thing, and have like other touch points. So I would actually run it like they can maybe come on a coaching call twice a week. That's probably just like audio, just recorded, and then it can be sent out to them. So they've got that touch point, and then they can ask questions. But the actual mastermind would be like, if it's going to be face to face, like live, like not over Zoom, I would be like, fly everybody in kind of thing. they can fly themselves in once a month or once every second month, depends on how you want to run that. At the moment, if I did it Zoom, I would just make sure that, you know, and we have a structure to the day, so it's not just like a free for all. But the point of the mastermind is I come to you and say, hi, this is my business. I've taken it as far as I can. I can't see my blind spots. I want to do this much more. I want to turn over this much more. But now I don't know what my blind spots are, and I need someone to help put a different spin on things, or what am I not doing right? And like, that's going to come from people who have also been in your shoes, and then they like, I just had a breakthrough, and you know what I did differently, and then they share to, you know, the high level minded people, and then they're able to actually take that away. Or so just having that caliber of conversation when you're running a business, doing, you know, certain turnover, means that you're going to be and you know, now you've got them on text message on a Wednesday morning, you just get 20 minutes and you want to just chat. Can I pick your brain about something? You've got access to that level of people. And that's when people really pay like the big dollars to be part of that. So that, I think I gave an example, James Wedmore, his mastermind is like, I don't know, 3 or 4 or maybe 5 or 6 times a year in LA. You have to fly to America to be part of his mastermind, and you're there like all weekend. And I think at the end of the year they'll do like a big thing where they're there for like 7 days. It's like a full-on retreat. They're there for 7 days, and then they'll just fly to different parts of the world. It won't always be in just one spot, but the other times, like, and you have to show up. You don't get to miss out. You don't get to not be part of it. Like, you absolutely have to show up. But when people want to be part of things like those sorts of masterminds, it's because they need, like, you just can't have those kinds of conversations like with your family members, your friends that you had from high school. Like, they're just not going to cut it as far as, like, you know, that high caliber conversation that you need to be having. So that's how I would run it. And then I've put some numbers down the bottom as well, just so you can see that. Hang on. With that. So then that would be like, if we only had 10 people come through on the mastermind, then at 25 grand, well, that's actually supposed to be 40 there. I don't know what I've done wrong. That's another $1 million. So you've only 10 people coming through paying 25 grand like for the year. So the way I would run it is that over time it would get larger and larger, but Fridays would be my mastermind day, and I would deliver content in some kind of way and then do the roundtable thing. And I'd facilitate it in all the ways that I've just said. But it would get larger and larger. So as people came through from round 1, they're the first, you know, the founding members, and then I would have like people from round 2, you know, come through and then be able to make it and join in. So they're now also, you know, sitting at the table with the people who were in round 1, and then round 2, 3, 4 will join them. So it'll just kind of get bigger and bigger and bigger. But I think you can probably have, it's hard to say. I think you can have like 100 and then do like breakout sessions. So not every you know, Friday you're going to meet with like the whole 100, but you might sort of do like the 100 once a month, like the big thing, and then do like smaller breakout stuff. And that's where you have other people facilitating that as well. So yeah, so that's how I would run it, or run something, anything. And I'm kind of piecing together stuff that I've seen done really, really well. Some examples of stuff that I have been involved in, and then tweaked other things in ways that, you know, like, yeah, the way I would do it now. Now, was that okay? How was that?
Yeah, amazing.
All right. Do you want to go to the next level?
Sure, why not?
Okay. All right, before I flick to the next screen. So there's 365 days of the year. So if you ran like power sessions, 50-day power sessions, you get 7 of those per year. So it's like a sprint, like a 50-day sprint, basically. So if you had, you could be doing, so this one was $250,000 launches, that's at 50 people, for a 12-week course. But if you did like a 50-day sprint, you would have 7 launches per year. And so just on that, you would have a $3.5 million launch just on level 1. Right? Are you following me? Okay. It looks a little bit more confusing on the screen, but this is kind of what it looks like. So you would have, you're only, at the moment, you're not doing the mastermind here because I didn't get that far with my color coding, but you would have like, it could be a 14-week thing. So it would actually be like more value. So round 1 goes for, instead of 12 weeks, round 1 goes for 14 weeks. It's not hard to find 2 more things to talk about. It's probably really hard to cram it all into 7 weeks. I feel like that's, you know, a bit of a push. So you could basically break it, what you were going to do, and just break it into round 7-week lots, but have it like, you know, part 1, part 2 of foundation. Does that make sense? So it's 7 and then 7 and then 7. So basically, if you've got 2 days of the week or 3 days of the week that you're operating and facilitating these courses, and you've got, let's have a look. So, but now you're running on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So round 1 is just Tuesdays, and they go through up to week 7. And in week 8, you can start round 2. Does that make sense? So we're kind of dovetailing. And then when the next one stops, like when round 1 stops, you can do round 3. So you're doing round 2 and 3 at the same time. There's some kind of crossover. So it's kind of like, yeah. Am I making sense?
Yes, I'm just wondering, you you would probably do, say, round 1 in the morning and round 2 in the afternoon in the second week. Is that right? Because you couldn't merge the 2 of them, of course.
I'm just doing them on different days. So I'm doing round 1.
Oh, yes, I see now. Sorry.
Round 2 on Thursdays. And then I would do round 3 on Tuesday.
Okay.
And then I do round 4 on Thursday, and I just leapfrog them like that. So that's kind of taking the basic, the basis of what I did before, and just kind of like supercharging it. So that the other way, doing it 12 weeks, you had 4 rounds starting. So like, you know, like 4 terms of the year. But this way you can have 7. It depends how hard you want to work. It's kind of next level, but it takes planning, and it takes, it's a strategy. It's just a strategy. It's just a, you know, a theory at the moment. But then you'd be able to take something like this with like a methodology behind it, and layer in, like Muriel's, like planning with the stars of when's a good time to launch it and stuff like that, because obviously you're going to have like peak times, when's a really good time to go, when's not a good time to go. So it doesn't have to be 14 weeks long. It could be still for 12 weeks long, but you're going to leapfrog them in that kind of way. And then you should be able to get at least, you know, 6 or 7 times a year. That's a good time to start something.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Does that make sense?
And you could even start different level at when the stars are really good. You could even start different levels at that time, and make it more, because there's only 3 retrogrades, really 3 massive retrograde 3 weeks. I mean, that's only 9 weeks, you know, in the year for new.
Yeah. So it's actually not that much. So I'm keen to, like, I'll finish color coding this, so you've got it as a basic, as the basis. Sorry. And I'm really keen to sort of see the way you guys would, you know, tweak it for yourself and all that sort of stuff. So it's a formula. It's like, you know, take and do what you want. The numbers at the moment, if I go back to the single round, like it's all in here. So say, for example, if I wanted to make that 100, it should all flow on. Yeah. So you can go in and actually, you know, the formulas will carry over. And you can play around with, you know, like what feels good for you. What do you think you'll be able to do? And then later you'll actually have like the ready rec now, where you go, okay, well, this was our forecast. This was like, this is, I would consider, like, if everything went to plan and you hit all your targets, all your sales targets, like this is best case scenario. And then you can actually like run another scenario, like another model, and go, okay, what would be worst case scenario? Like, what's my minimum viable product? What would I, if I didn't even get 10 in my first round, would I consider like just refunding and not running it until I can, build up the hype again? Like, how would I facilitate it to make sure that, I'm not going to waste my time, basically. So, because at the end of the day, you still have bills to pay, still got, all this, your responsibilities and stuff like that. So if you're going to show up, you're going to show up, and make it worth your while and everybody else's while as well. So, but in saying that, like one of the actual things that I would want to very, very soon will cover off is that PLF, that product launch formula, how to actually do that. Because Tracy, you were asking me about like, how would you launch it? How would you market that? What would you actually do? And so there's like a formula tried and tested. Like I couldn't make it up, like if we just follow along with what they say to do. These are the things that you do. This is what you say. This is how you pitch it. This is when you do a live, and you actually have like a whole other spreadsheet for what I do on this day, what I do on that day, what I do. And so it's literally just laid out for you. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to make it up. You just wake up on Monday morning, you go, right, 10 o'clock I show up and I do my live and I talk about this, because we plan it out and we decide what it's going to be ahead of time. No faffing about, no making it up on the fly. Like, you know what you got to do, and you turn up for it, because it's actually down to science at this point in time. It's just running the numbers, sticking it in. If you can get an audience with a reach, X amount, this many will respond. Like, it's just now down to science. So if you can put the numbers into the spreadsheet for what you can actually you aim to get, if you got, like 1% of your audience at this point in time, you probably, I don't know how big your following on Facebook is, but you might have enough for a course. If I put it out there to my audience at the moment, I had under 1,000 before Christmas, and I made it like a commitment to myself. I wasn't really kind of selling anything, and I was still we knew that we'd be like moving home, and I was kind of packing up my house, and all I knew was that I was going to have to just grow my following fast, and I've literally doubled it since October. Yeah, when I got the notice that we weren't going to be able to renew our lease anymore, I was like every night committed to just literally like growing my audience. And I just go on like friending sprees, and mostly at the moment, like Muriel and I have like 244 mutual friends. I thought that was hilarious. I just go for the people who have like over 60 people of mutual friends of mine. That's it. I'm not random strangers. I get and when I go on a spree, more people, try to contact me, and it's always like an Indian guy, and we have no mutual friends. And I'm like, no, you're not my target audience. I don't have to say yes to you. So and I do a cull. So I'd already done a massive cull. I probably got rid of like 500 fake accounts on my Instagram. I went through, and I actually got blocked on Instagram because I was going too fast with deleting my followers and clearing them out and stuff. So they said, I'm going too fast for that. And then it was like for 3 days, and then I went again, but I've still tried to go slow, but it was still too fast. So then I got blocked for a week. I was on a mission. I was like, I'm not having any random. If you're not for me, if I'm not for you, then you don't need to be seeing my stuff. So I stopped posting. I just cleared some stuff out, and I just wanted to do like a full reset. And I did the same with my Facebook friends as well. I just kind of did a clear out. I thought if they have too many mutual friends, I didn't want them. And then I went, bad mistake, and I had to refriend everybody. So now I'm back up to, I don't know, I don't think I'm at 2,000 friends yet, but that's since before Christmas. I just knew that I wanted to really kick it up a notch, just so that if I ever did want to go ahead and push something, that I've got a good basis to start.
And you have to do it regularly. I would, because at the end of the day, okay, you can have a mentor, you can have someone behind you, but at the end of the day, it is your own discipline. And me, I would almost, that's what I was telling the other day, I would punish myself to make sure I will reach it. Because if I couldn't go out on a Saturday with my kids because I didn't add up those 10 people every day, I can tell you the next weekend after that, I will be out with my kids. I will miss one Saturday, not a second Saturday. And at the beginning, for 1 year, almost 2 years, I didn't have a VA. So it does take discipline. It's like, okay, I'm not going to bed until 10 of them have accepted me. They're actually real friends, like, I mean, and we, you know, have exchanges or whatever, they've accepted or joined my group or whatever. But it does take that discipline to actually be start. But once you start still growing because of these, you know, famous 10 to 12%, which are real. I mean, you can even boost them. I mean, last time I was with Veronica, I mean, it was out of 5 retreats that were sold, you know, or they've been canceled now, but I mean, it doesn't matter. And that will grow as well because your return will grow. But it takes work with that, and it takes those famous 6 hours of doing lives or sharing about your dogs, your cats, I don't care what you share about, but people need to know you. You need to belong to them. They need to know who you are, how you live, what you do, because then they can trust you. Because otherwise it's hard to buy from someone you've just seen them online and you don't even know who they are, right? So you need to do that work. That is inevitable.
Mm-hmm. And people really want to see your journey as well. It's really just kind of documenting.
Yes.
Like I don't share heaps about my kids, but you know, like I'm a mum, so I just refer to them, you know, and when I say like we, I just mean like my whole family, like we do this. So they don't turn up in my actual kind of like things
that's fine.
About.
Yeah.
Much.
And that's fun because you don't need to put them. Mikael and Madeline, I've got a group in my Facebook, which are my friends, where I want to share the pictures with my kids. The others that I don't know, they don't see pictures of my kids. The general ones don't see my kids, or they're going to see that I've got a cat, a dog, or my kids from the back, because I don't want those people that I don't know to see the face of my children, to know which schools they are going to. But the ones, for example, everyone that is here tonight, those people will see my kids at school, will see my kids, what we do and stuff like that, because, you know, there's transparency on that side. But the others, you can create, you know, different groups and who is following what anyway. So you can protect your children as well. There's no problem. But exactly.
I just found in my friends section of Facebook, there's a restricted one which will only see your public posts.
Yes.
So you can then avoid putting in your kids or whatever you want to avoid putting in.
Yes, that's it. There's different options there. And exactly right, Kim, what you were saying is they are buying your lifestyle. They're buying what you are doing and the way you are living. Because at the end of the day, if you live that life, then that's the life they also want. So it is in your own interest to show what you are doing, especially when you start being successful and traveling and doing all those kind of things. People are going to say, well, that's the life I want to do. I want to be traveling. I want to be making money. I want to be doing all those things. And it is in your own interest to show what you are doing.
Yeah. Cool. So how was that? Just feedback on what we talked about.
That was really good. Thank you. That was, I'd love when you've finished touching it up. I'd love a copy.
I'll make it look a bit more pretty. Okay.
Cool. And also, while I have you, would the templates for the social media, are you able to share that as well? I think way back when we first started.
Yeah, I mentioned it. Yeah, I've so I'm just in the groups as of like today or someone, this morning I think, and I've shared one. So yeah, I've only uploaded one thing so far, but I've got more to upload, and I'll just sort of reference them back to you know, the trainings and where I've mentioned it and stuff. So today I uploaded a script for a live that I would do you know, on Monday we talked about the 5-day mini course, and we did the flow desk. So we opened up flow desk and we had like a little landing page where they were going to put their email into, and then that was going to trigger 5 emails to come over 5 days, like in a mini course or information. With Michelle, I talked with Michelle about swapping out the mini course and putting like a little ebook of 7 recipes that she wants to share, and then she's going to do her live cooking the recipes from it, so it's relevant to her. So and I think even with Veronica today, she has an ebook, and we're just going to swap out that mini course, and she's going to get good at practicing her live sharing from the ebook to inspire people to download more, and now she's going to have their email. So so the live script that I've put in is actually, it's by another guy. He was selling his, I think it was like $5 he was charging for his ebook or something, like not much, maybe $5 or 20, I don't know. But the point is, so he was actually asking for money, but you can still use the same thing for something for free. So I've given the script to start promoting that 5-day course. And it's not like, that's not actually like an arm of your business. That's just like one tiny little sliver of a piece of marketing that can go out. That's going to be automated. So you're just going to be automatically collecting emails, and you're going to grow your subscriber list like that. And basically it's, you don't have to pay for any advertising to grow your email list like this. You just do a live, you talk about what your mini course is about, and you'll actually just drop in, you know, a way to memorize it easily. There is a way to, if you buy a domain, and you actually have that link from Flowdesk, which was like an ugly link, it's quite long, you can just mask that with your domain. So you can use a really easy domain, like, you know, I am kim.com or something, you know, go to iamkim.com to find out more information, like say it like that. And then that's what, when they type that in, Flowdesk, the one pager, is going to pop up with like where to put their details, where to put their email address. So that's what I uploaded today, the script. And then the other thing was, I think it was going to be like, was it story prompts? Which one? I can't remember what all the things I said I would share. So one of them was, I've got like 52 weeks of newsletters, 365 days of story prompts. Like I've got heaps of resources. You just let me know what you need, or what I already said that I promised to give.
Oh my goodness.
That would be great just to start with, so they really start next week, and they really start, you know, being active, because we need to do it while the stars are good before the 14th of May. So I think we'll do more hands-on to make sure that everyone has done it, that everyone's got something out there, ebook, or even, you know, studying, talking about the small program or who they are, doing a live and having exactly right a landing page on, because plus the interviews, obviously, because they need to be now launching and going for it.
Cool.
It's time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Does anyone need help? Like, I'm happy to help out. We can do the one-on-ones and stuff like that. But if you actually need like technical help, we can just outsource it. You know, I've got some people who can, you know, throw them a bone, send them some work to do.
I know you're talking about that. I missed it on Monday, and I have to catch up about the sales process. But I use Kartra, but I haven't actually started using the funnel and setting up the sequences yet. So do you have anyone that does Kartra?
No, I don't think we've used that one. I personally have used a lot of ones, and I've whittled it down now. Like I've used ClickFunnels, I've used Infusionsoft, I've used Klaviyo, I've used MailChimp. I don't even know anymore. I'm sure that's like a drop in the ocean. And I've landed on Flowdesk for, well, first of all, because the price is fixed. So even though MailChimp is free now, I think when you hit, I don't know, I think it's 5,000 subscribers, which will happen really quickly if done right. Then they start to charge you. Whereas Flowdesk, it's just the one price and you just pay. There is actually a promo code floating around somewhere for 50% off. I thought that's cool. So $38 is usually just like the flat price. I'm sure that's Aussie, not American. And you can grow your subscriber list to 100,000. They don't care. It'll just always be the one price. So for like in terms of all the things you need for your tech stack, I like things that are like fixed and not going to like creep up on you later. Because you can earn more, but your tech stack is just a fixed price. But yeah, if you're using another one, do you have any subscribers in it already, or have you been paying?
No, but I've paid like 12 or 1,300 Australian for a year, and that expires in November. So that's a lot of money. So I wanted to use it.
Okay.
It does everything. It does the ClickFunnels. It does the automated marketing. It does a whole host of different things. So that's why I liked it. And that's why I subscribed to it.
Okay. Yeah, cool. Okay.
Yeah, so it would be worth using it because it is a lot of money.
That's I always come back to that. If you've got something, you've paid for it, it's working, you know, like try to not change things too much. A lot of the like it's when you invest in tech, like you've gone around, you've really made, you've made your decision and you've invested, you lose time and you lose money swapping to something like, and that's it ends up being quite a big business decision and quite a strategic move. If you're like, no, I'm going to do it, I'm going to move to something else, and like all the funnels and the links to everything. Like you literally have to like pick it up and move it over, and sometimes it's not even worth it. Like if you've gone that far with it, and if you've invested that kind of money with it, I would be like, just maximize it and make sure that you're getting every last penny's worth out of it, because because you've invested. If you can't get it back, then that's it. You just go with what you've got. Yeah, I haven't used that one personally though. That's the thing. Yeah.
It seems good. It seems good, and it seems to be. I haven't used it as well either, but it seems to be really good with everything. I looked at it
up there. Yeah, I see a lot of people using it. Like, so I'm a bit of a geek. So when people, if I sign up to something and I like their template or their format or how they've done something, or just how nice and basic their email is, but still compelling, I'll actually like go through. I'll hit their unsubscribe button, which will take me to a page, and then I can see, are they using Active Campaign, Infusionsoft, and then I know what they're using, because I'm always on the lookout for like the hottest tech things. So yeah, I'm a total geek. Yeah, my daughter's laughing at me.
Yeah, no, that's good. No, I love it. Me, I'm just that's why I'm so happy to be working with you, because go for it. I mean, because it's always evolving so fast. Once you start being comfortable with something, then suddenly, there is a new setting, there's new way algorithm with Facebook. As soon as you start getting comfortable with something else happens. So you have to be really loving it and following it up all the time, because otherwise you get lost anyway.
Yep, exactly. So I'm going to go and I'll work on this spreadsheet probably in the morning. I'll get back to it in the morning, and then I'll upload it into the group when you do this video. Like, I'll attach it so that it's all connected and people can have access to this as well.
That would be amazing. Thank you. It was a great training session tonight. So I got a lot out of it. Thank you. I hope everyone else did too.
Yes. And then you can always do it. Like, obviously we kept on going after that to the year, which we will hit in 2021, when there you can do, like we saw, you were there, Tracy, with Ben and all that, where you can also simplify and just do a big program, and that also makes it. But it's good to have it like that as well, because you're always generating new people as well, which you can always take to that 1 year program later on, because 80% of the people who bought from you will rebuy anyway. So you can keep on adding some stuff all the time. So all of them is good. Like, seriously, all of it is just perfect. And the way you're organizing, Kim, is really, really well organized. That's a good job. That's for sure. Very well.
Thanks, ladies.
Awesome.
All right. Hope you guys sleep well.
Thank you so much, Kim. That was
Good night.
No worries.
Bye.
Okay.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.